All right, here what we have is another problem involving parabolas with conics. And what we want to do in this problem is find the focus. We want to find the focus. So what we have here is, if you recall, the focus is inside of the parabola. So the first thing we want to do is, just like the other ones, we want to write this into standard form of a parabola. All right, correct form, which would be standard form. Now, to put this in standard form, you realize that this is what we have in conic form, or polynomial form, or actually implicit form. That's not a polynomial, it's an implicit form. All right, so this is implicit. Okay, just for your information. And so what we need to do is we need to complete the square, So, the standard form is where we have all the y's and x's on either one of the sides. So, you realize that y is squared, and x doesn't have any squares, so that we know it's going to be a parabola then. Okay, that's the key thing. So here, we're going to take all the y values, I'm going to take all the y values, and keep them on the same side. The other ones I'm going to do banish, push them off to the other side. So I'm going to take this negative 12x and add 12x and push it to the other side, or bring it to the other side, and we have negative 15, and we're going to take that and banish it to the other side, so we're going to add 15 to this side. Now, from here, we have to complete the square. We are missing our c value because this, all right, does not have a perfect square, and we need a square, all right, in order to put it in the standard form. So to find the c value, we're going to take the b value, divide it by 2, and then square it. So in this case, we're going to take negative 6, divide by 2, and square it, and what we're going to have is 9. Now, one thing in algebra, whatever you do to one side, you also have to do to the other, so we're going to add 9 to this side as well. A lot of students will forget that. Will forget that when they're going through and doing these steps. Now, from here, we're going to now take this, and we're going to have y minus 3 squared. Okay, so we're going to complete this square. Now it's a perfect square. Y minus 3 times y minus 3. This is going to equal, we have 12x. You can add this together, and we have 24. Now from here, you realize I can factor out a 12, so x plus 2. And now we have our value. Now, from here, we have our standard form. This is what standard form is. If you graph this parabola, the key thing is we're going to figure out the focus. Now, the focus is inside of the parabola. Okay, it's inside the parabola, and we have to find out p-value. The p-value, right here, if you look at that, the p-value can be found by taking the coefficient next to the expression that is not squared. So x plus 2 is not squared, because y minus 3 is, right there. All right, so we're going to take that. 12 is going to equal 4 times p. And now we solve for p. P is going to equal 3. Okay, so if you want to have a mental picture of what this is going to look like, we have our good old parabola, and we got to find our center, okay, the center. Well, looking at this, we can see the center. Now, be very careful. Our center is at negative 2, because that's next to the x. All right, and then 3, which is next to the y, all right, and how we do this transformations. All right, so negative 2, what makes that 0? All right, negative 2. And then we have our 3, all right, over here. Okay, deal with the transformations. Now, from here now, we're going to figure out our focus. Now, the focus is determined on what's happening to this parabola. Well, if I graph this, we have 1, 2, and we go 1, 2, 3. Now, this parabola, because y is squared, is opening to the right. All right, I know that because, well, it has to open to the right or left because y is squared. All right, so right or left. Or left. Okay, because y is squared. The question is, which way does it go? Well, since the p is positive and the coefficient is positive, we know it's always going to open to the right. If it would be negative, it would open to the left. So from here, we know it's going to go this way. So what does that mean? Well, our focus is always inside of the parabola, and it's p units away. So that means right here we can go 1, 2, 3, and our focus is going to be on the axis of symmetry, which is going to be horizontal in this case, so our focus is there. Now where's that point? Well, that appears to be at 1, 3. That is our focus value. Okay. You could also find this focus value by simply realizing, okay, I'm going horizontally, so I'm going to take negative 2, which is the x of my vertex. I'm going to add 3, all right, and, well, the y doesn't change, so we have 1, 3 as well. So in either case, you get your answer. All right, right there, and that's our focus. Okay, so once again, in order to find the focus, all right, or the vertex, or the directrix. The key thing is we want to look at our equation and see, is it in standard form, and is it in correct standard form? And in correct standard form, we have to have a square, quantity that's squared, expression that's squared, all right, equal to the other expression that is not squared. And make sure that is always on the other side. From there, we can find our center, and from our center, we can help us find our focus and directrix by finding the p-value, which is always the coefficient next to the quantity that is not squared, right? Not squared. Okay, well, I hope that helps you out. We're going to have some more questions, but good luck and God bless in the rest of your problems.